Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey, this is the Digital Asset Investor. Today I'm going to talk to you about the number one question that I get on this channel, and that is, how do I cash out? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a hypothetical here, and let's pretend for today's video that the people that made the wildest predictions that there are for this year, end of year 2018, were correct. And all of a sudden, I want to take out some, and I've got $500,000 worth of XRP that I want to sell, 5,000 US dollars worth of XRP, and I'm going to sell it. And I want to be able to sell it and get it into my US bank account. I'm going to show you how I would do that to get it into my US bank account, and I'm also going to show you what I would do if I lived in Europe. Now, a lot of the people in Europe that are listening, you may have better options over there that you know about that I don't know about. I'm just going to tell you how I would do it based on what I do know. And so moving along, so we're dealing with 500,000 US dollars worth of XRP. I'm trying to get it out. Before I go into it, I want to discuss liquidity with you, because liquidity is what matters. Now, I know that a lot of you hate Coinbase and you don't like some of the exchanges that I will mention. But it's irrelevant. What's relevant to me in this discussion is what I think the most liquid way for me to get out is, because believe it or not, we are still in a place where liquidity is a problem in this market, and it is not. It could change drastically in the next 6 months. But for those of us that are average Joes, liquidity is still an issue. So I want to find the most liquid XRP outlets for me. Binance is mine. Okay, Binance, a lot of these I don't have access to, but in these top 10 XRP, the Binance market, the Binance XRP BTC market specifically. Now let's look at Bitcoin and the markets that are liquid for that in the United States for me. The one but you got Binance, and then of course Coinbase Pro. The reason I'm still attracted to Coinbase is because Coinbase has a 4 or 5 year track record of dealing with the banks in the United States. It will be easier for me, as I sit here right now, it will be easier for me to get US dollars into a US bank account going through Coinbase when I'm coming out of the digital asset world. I know this for a fact. It's just the way it is right now. That's going to change drastically over the next year, 2 years. But for now, I still believe it's the case. And there's other reasons as well that I'll get into. So first, okay, as a U.S. citizen, the first thing I'm going to do, and before I go into this, I want to show you this. I showed some of you this on in a video prior to today. My XRP I hold on a Ledger Nano S. They're running until November 21st. They're running a 20% off. You can get one of the traditional black Ledger Nano. If you buy one black Nano S and one color, they've got them in various colors now, they'll give you 20% off. If you get one black and then two that are multicolored, they'll give you 30% off. This is a killer deal. This is in the description of all of my videos. Go get one if you don't have one. It's the only safe way to store your assets. Okay. Back to the Ledger Live interface. So here's how I start to get my $500,000 into my bank account. I've got my XRP here. I'm going to send it from, this is the Ledger Live. This is the software, the interface that works with your Ledger Nano S. So I will send the XRP using, I have an XRP address on what I'm going to show you now, which is I'm going to send it over to Binance. Okay, so I've got Binance. I'm going to go to the XRP Bitcoin market on Binance. I'm going to sell my XRP into Bitcoin. And I know a lot of you are going to get mad when I show you this because you hate Coinbase. You hate what I'm about to do. but I still say it is the most liquid, it's the fastest and the easiest way without red flagging some bank and them thinking you're up to no good, going through Coinbase to a bank account. And this is the pathway that I plan to use right now. That could change next month. Okay, but before I go any further, I want to explain something else to you. Those of you that have a Binance account, if you set up your Binance account when they first set you up, you have a 24-hour withdrawal limit of 2 BTC. That will do you no good if you're trying to get out a huge amount of money like what we're talking about. $500,000 is your $500,000. Even if you got your XRP to Binance and sold it into Bitcoin, it's going to be stuck there if you have not gone through the approval process. You've got to give them some identification, give them some other things, and they will approve you. It's not very hard to do. For 24 withdrawal limit of 100 Bitcoin, in today's dollars worth of Bitcoin, that would be plenty for what I'm trying to do in this video. So go do it today. You also have to do the same thing on Bittrex, and I'll talk about them in a minute. So go to Bittrex, and they'll approve you for this same limit right here. They approved me for it anyway. Okay, so now we have sold our XRP on Binance. We've sold it into Bitcoin. So now I'm going to send it over to my Coinbase Pro account. I now have Bitcoin, and I'm going to sell that Bitcoin into US dollars. Now, on Coinbase Pro, you have to link your bank account just like you do with a lot of these other exchanges. Well, from Coinbase Pro, you've got the same issue with withdrawals. Let's say you've got your withdrawal limit problem satisfied with Binance. Well, if you don't have it set up correctly with Coinbase, you've accomplished nothing. Coinbase has the same type system. Request to increase your withdrawal limit. You have to set this up. You have to go and apply with them and tell them why you're wanting this withdrawal. You have to go in, and you also want to get your bank account set up with these guys so that you're linked. So that and I know for a fact that Coinbase has very high limits, at least 500K that you can be set up, and you can just tell them that you're an XRP whale or something, and that you plan on exiting, you plan on cashing out through their system, and you'd like to be approved for a higher limit. Okay, so once you cash out of Coinbase, ta-da, it's in your bank account. So, now, I did want to go over Bittrex because many of you are going to tell me Bittrex, you can also do this. And so what I'm going to do is show you Bittrex. You could also do what I just described, and you could send your XRP from your Ledger Nano S onto Bittrex platform. Bittrex, for those of you that don't know, is one of XRapid's liquidity providers. That's not too relevant to you trying to cash out, but it's just a piece of information that's interesting to know. But for the purposes of cashing out, you would send your XRP to Bittrex. You have to have gone through those same type approval things that I mentioned to you before. And Bittrex has only approved on a state-by-state basis. I know they've approved Georgia, which is where I live, but they've approved on a state-by-state basis. You'll see here, I have not been approved to do these. You have no withdrawal addresses configured. I haven't linked my bank account, but you can link your bank account. And my understanding is that there is not a USD withdrawal limit at Bittrex. Some of you may be able to correct that, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. Okay, well, what if I live in Europe? What would I do? Same thing. I would go from Ledger, but in my opinion, one of my favorite all-time exchanges that I don't use much anymore is Bitstamp. And my XRP would go straight from the Ledger Nano S, and it would go on to Bitstamp, which is what you're looking at here. I would go, I'm assuming most of you over there would be dealing in euros, and so I would sell my XRP into euros, and then the Bittrex platform allows you the Bitstamp platform, they have the same type of, you have to go, you probably have to link your bank account, but you can, I think they call it a SEPA over there, and you will be able, once you've sold your XRP into Euro, you'll be able to initiate a transfer into your bank account. And I do not think they have a limit in Bitstamp. If you wanted, there's also a way, if you're a U.S. citizen, Bitstamp will do international wires from, if you wanted to sell your XRP into U.S. dollars on Bitstamp, you could do an international wire to your bank in the United States. But I'm not going to do it that way, because I believe I believe a lot of these banks in the U.S. would red flag that still even today. There's one final thing I wanted to talk to you about having to do with all this, and that is the OTC market. When you're dealing, the OTC market does not just deal with institutional traders. There is another option for those of you that wanted to do this. If you wanted to go through, this is Circle Trade. This is their OTC platform. They only deal, and this is an individual application. Now remember, Circle Circle owns Poloniex, but Goldman Sachs owns part of Circle. So Circle is a huge, this is a big deal. And so right now they only support BTC, ETH, BCH, and LTC. So you would have to, in order to do this, unless you're able to find an OTC company that supports XRP, you could apply here. This is a registration form for an individual to apply to do OTC trading if you wanted to try to do yours in bulk through an OTC platform. But you would have to go to, say, Binance or Bittrex, convert it, and then send it to these guys in BTC or Ethereum, most likely something like that, or Litecoin. You could do it that way. But I have not done this. Now, this is something I've thought about, but I would probably wait until they had XRP. I am the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that there is a great exit strategy, and the digital asset investor just told you about some of them. Thanks for listening.